Using cheats is not okay, Tarnished. I know this video is a bit out of nowhere, but I just want to talk about a little topic that we saw a couple of days ago in the channel of our beloved albinaric master Stilovsky. You see, my little peachy muffins, Stilovsky uploaded a video covering another video that was uploaded to Reddit by the user, Small Peepee Master, where he showcases a match against a walking sack of potato gravy wielding a serpent hunter. For those of you who don't know, the serpent hunter, aside from being the gimmick weapon against my bro, is a very good strength weapon with a very strong crouch poke attack, an attack that has hyper armor at frame 7. But that is not the problem here. The actual problem was this. For those of you who don't know, this is a massively broken glitch called Chainsaw. We made a video covering it before, but it's basically a glitch where you turn the Serpent Hunter into a very long killing machine. If you get caught by it, it's a game over. And as you can see, it's very easy for that to happen. Needless to say that performing the chainsaw is literally cheating. However, some people are trying to justify that behavior. And what's the argument they're offering? The Hand of Millennia guy had latency and was light rolling.
What?
There is literally so much wrong with that statement. Let's start from the beginning. Yes, we can tell by watching the video that there is latency between both players. Latency is the result of distance between players. The information from one player to another has travel time, which basically results in what you're seeing in the video, delayed hits. But let me repeat that. There is latency between both players. So Serpent Hunter Toad Fart was experiencing the same lag or latency that the Hand of Millennia guy was experiencing. The latency argument immediately falls apart when one of the players simply accepts the situation and plays, while the other ends up cheating and throwing a tantrum. My guy here got punished merely by existing. And light roll, while strong, it's still a legitimate part of the game and it's not an exploit. Stilovsky talked about this, and while he didn't seem to approve of the cheating, or at least we want to believe that he didn't, he tried to explain why it happened, which sounds like justifying it. That may have not been his intention, but it does sound like that.
Why it happened in the first place? I think it's worth to understand that this latency that you see here, just check out what's going on and how, like, what is the delay on the hit. This latency is literally unplayable, light rolling on top of everything. So whereas of course you can consider glitching as something very bad, I'm not here to talk morals about like if the guy is supposed to freaking use the chainsaw or not or whatsoever. Point being, the game in the first place never supposed to connect these two players to each other because this is unplayable lad.
Let me say that while that latency was quite high, it didn't seem unplayable to me. This is unplayable. And even in those conditions, you can find a workaround without resorting to cheating.
This guy that chainsawed is like billions times better player than the guy that is spamming Millennia here at the beginning of the fight. Normally, if the latency would be good, the player with the Shanter would destroy this guy, and some people are just like, okay, I'm done with this, so I'm gonna chainsaw.
Let me fill you in with a secret, my little cookie dough cuties. If an enemy has latency, there are ways to deal with it without resorting to exploits. Status effects such as rot, madness, sleep, poison, they're all very good to apply pressure against an enemy that has high latency. Since roll catching is not an option in high latency, the status effects will apply on top of their rolls and you will be able to take advantage of it. Your enemy can do the same to you, and you need to know how to deal with it. In this particular case, since Millennia Guy has light armor, Serpent Hunter Guy could have just traded hits and won super easily, or bait a waterfowl dance and punish accordingly, which can be done, regardless of latency. At this point in the game's lifespan, part of the skill set you need is knowing how to deal with latency. If the Serpent Hunter Guy is truly a great player like Stilovsky says, then he knows this. So we have two options here. Either the Serpent Hunter guy is not a good player, or he deliberately chose to use an exploit against a newbie for the fun of it. And Steel knows latency can be dealt with, because he uses status effects to deal with it all the time, light roll or not. So we got a supposed great player legitimately losing a match against a newbie, and decided to cheat to avoid a meaningless defeat. Basement dweller behavior, if you ask me.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
Main problem is it's the game's fault that it allows those types of match, but everyone who plays PvP knows that they can use double spear, Anspur, BHS, ATC. Any of these options were better and best of all without cheating. Whereas I more or less get what this guy wants to say, just use in-game mechanics instead of working them around with the chainsaw. Dude, chainsaw is not easy thing to do, like at all.
Steel, bro. While it is true that the chainsaw is not easy to perform, it is most likely that everyone just uses the macro. There's a macro for the chainsaw where you can perform the whole glitch by the press of a button. Do you really think these orc abortions would risk their egos by attempting the glitch manually? Come on, man. I know you're not this naive.
And honestly, I can understand why people see this and they actually agree that, hey, that was utterly maidenless. But realistically speaking, what's supposed to be a talk about in case of this particular clip is that people with connections like this are not supposed to be able to fight with each other in the first place.
As for the connections between the players, should they be matched together? Probably not. Are they matched together though? Well, of course they are. Sadly, the game works like this and does not possess a ping filter, and we need to accept that. It is not going to be patched because latency is distance related and there's nothing to be done about it. That's just how physics work. You know what will probably be patched? The chainsaw glitch. And for those who really believe that chainsawing is the only way to deal with latency, what are you gonna do when it finally gets patched, huh? Your only option left will be to call mommy to pull the plug. I don't want to see you using any other anti-latency strategies because according to you, there were none. I would love to see you play a non-broken PvP game like King of Fighters 98, for example. Good luck bitching your way out of losing in there. Or you don't play it because you can't win, so that means that you're not going to play Elden Ring anymore when the chainsaw is finally patched, right? Disgusting.
Disgusting!
It will always amaze me how some of the PvP players in the community love to cry and throw fits so much instead of just, you know, playing. Believe it or not, that's also part of the loser mentality we talked about in this other video. People defend this walking turd by saying things like, he just wanted out quickly, there was latency, he got frustrated, etc, etc. But you need to understand that those are not legitimate reasons to glitch. Those are just excuses for a douche to act like one. Or what? Are you gonna tell me that throwing dung pots makes you exit the arena quicker? At the end of the day, yes, it's just a game. It's not the game factor that annoys me, but the human factor. Justifying the use of cheats and griefing tools against gamers that don't know any better is part of what keeps the Souls PvP from growing. So make the difference, Tarnished. Adapt like a man instead of crying like a toddler. And I can't believe I'm going to play this clip for a third time now.
Remember what I told you.
Don't be a cunt.
Sorry about the moulding, I guess.